Available, just not for the Northwest community. Racism is alive and well in Pasadena. Mayor Bogaard, do you believe in justice for all? No. No justice, no peace. No, just not for the Northwest community. Do you know we've had 22 shootings this year under this present mayor? Okay? Do you know that the mayor did not enter into an agreement with the Bakewell company? Do you know the mayor?
That's not exactly how it's meant.
Let me finish and then you.
No, let him talk.
Let him talk.
Get the microphone so we can hear you.
He said that this was an official meeting, and unfortunately, that was a community meeting initiated by.
I don't think I said officials and there was a meeting, but if I did, I misspoke.
Mr. Carter, I cannot hear you.
I'm not sure I convinced you.
Let him mic there.
Let him have the mic.
Let him have the mic.
Sure can hear.
Let him have the mic.
Let him have the mic so we can hear.
We can't hear anybody if y'all talking.
You scared to get the mic?
Let me go through this and then I'll recognize you, Kurt.
We don't want to recognize you, okay, because you didn't recognize us. So give him the mic.
Give him the mic.
And then once you do that, we have the context of the people that are new, and then,
That's fine, you can introduce, you're referring to the September 19th meeting.
and October 30th.
First of all, to panel here.
We can't hear you.
First of all, to the panel and to the audience. We had unfinished business from the September 19 meeting, community town hall meeting that was called by our community. Mr. Mayor, since you did not attend as promised for the October 30th meeting, and you were not there to answer our questions, which was it was a very productive meeting where we had actually had Councilman Holden attending and having a discussion with us. We sat down to create a space for you and for us to assist, to help you follow through on your promise, to address the unanswered questions from the September 19th meeting.
I got a letter, and the letter that I sent to Ralph is dated October 19th. October 19th. And this letter says, "Thank you for your letter regarding a community meeting that you and your associates have planned for October 30th. Perhaps you were aware that, pursuant to the commitment made at a previous meeting, the city manager has made preparations for a second meeting which is now scheduled for Tuesday, November 6th. I and other members of the council who attended the first meeting are, I am informed, scheduled to attend. I look forward to meeting with the community at that time. As to October 30, I have a long-standing commitment which begins at 6:15 and continues until after 9 p.m. Accordingly, I regret that I am not able to join you and the others that evening. Please let me know if there's any information which will be helpful to you and the information in regard to the matter in which you have strong interest." So there were two letters to Mr. Poole, one dated on...
We would like to be able to express and ask those questions right now.
Yeah, we want to be able to do that.
Ms. Fulbright, if you don't mind, why don't we go through these?
No, why don't we do it? We want it our way. We want it our way.
If we're going to have a meeting tonight, there has to be some sort of decorum here.
On September. How could you go against the will of the community and not enter into exclusive negotiations with the Bakewell company when the city manager and staff, the CDC, as well as the community, unanimously selected the Bakewell company's proposal to build Heritage Square? That's your first question here. Number two.
Let him respond.
Okay. Would you like to answer them?
Give him a mic.
This meeting is out of order.
Give him a mic.
Not out of
The
order.
opportunity for the meeting to begin in an orderly way and allow each of the...
If it's out of order, we're calling our mayor.
I think the meeting
And
was...
if it isn't
Our mayor was
possible to
out of
have
order when he missed our
an orderly
meeting.
where people who have come here tonight who are interested in asking new questions and so on. have
These
the
are not new questions.
Jimmy, you know, let me suggest that we go through the questions as they were reported. If in fact there are questions that anyone in the audience believes are left unanswered, after we go through the questions
Do them
that
first, do them
were...
there.
We'd like you
Well,
to
but
address
you
the
don't know
questions
which
that were
answers you
answered on
have.
September
It doesn't make
19th.
sense. Let us go through the questions.
Okay, here's the question. Do you
That-
have an extra one? Let's give
Let us
that
go
one.
through the questions
Okay.
that we have answers to. If you have additional questions, we're happy to hear them.
Now,
And I think, Adam,
Are you going to read it? Or are we going to read it?
we're going to go through the questions that we have answered, engage in a productive dialogue,
You did, but you didn't show us last week.
and have questions answered. And so I'm going to continue.
On the 30th.
I'm going to continue to assume that. So I'm going to ask Cynthia to read the questions. I'm going to ask Cynthia to read the questions that were posed on the 19th.
From the
You weren't
community.
here on the 19th. You weren't here on the 19th, so you shouldn't have anything to do with the questions. You
No,
weren't
Cynthia's going to read the questions.
To have written responses to the questions, and so I won't read all the answers, but I'll read the questions. But the questions and the answers are on the document that I handed out. There are some additional questions that the mayor is going to address himself because they were directed at him as an individual about things going on in the city rather than asking for questions.
Church service that's found a lot of newer sports facilities are using this material. It's not at all like AstroTurf. It's much more of a cushioned surface. It's very soft and resilient.
And one on the 30th, and nobody was here. And it was conducted in a professional manner. So I'm just asking you, do you go to other community meetings?
Yes, I do.
In
I go
other
to
districts?
absolutely. It's a good question. I go to as many meetings as possible. As a watch commander, we have responsibility for the whole city, and we also have separate service areas, but we as watch commanders try to, on the night when the service area lieutenant's not here, try to get to those meetings as a request for the service area so we'll know what's going on in our community, the service that we're responsible for.
Okay, so and one on the 30th, and nobody was here. And it was conducted in a professional manner. So I'm just asking you, do you go to other community meetings?
Yes, I do.
In other districts?
Absolutely. It's a good question. I go to as many meetings as possible. As a watch commander, we have responsibility for the whole city, and we also have separate service areas, but we as watch commanders try to, on the night when the service area lieutenant's not here, try to get to those meetings as a request for the service area so we'll know what's going on in our community, the service that we're responsible for.
Okay, so
And if I could add to that, because I reserved the room, I have the reservation there with my name on, because it was a city-sponsored meeting where we were pulling people together. That information is automatically shared amongst departments, so people knew the city manager was planning a meeting tonight, and the police department would know that. They may not have known there were things going on when the community had scheduled the room unless they had happened to walk through the building.
addressed on this last meeting, the community meeting, bypassing the Altadena Black Coalition was the one that had this meeting, okay, is because it was in Chris's district, and we had asked you to come to answer some of the questions that we had here, and we
spent all the valuable time of all the important people who were here
we're only
disputing the
important,
facts.
Mr.
I'm saying everybody is important here.